Okay, good morning. I wanted to walk everybody through some best practices using the deals component in the Zoho CRM. When I was at the factory yesterday, I spent some time with Karen Bashirs, and she is not just looking at her own deals, of course. She has access to many of the salespeople's information because she is working in house and has some overlap. So it can get a little bit overwhelming at times with the number of potential deals that are pending. So I wanted to go over and show you a couple ways to utilize your filters in the deals component in order to help you better manage um, a large amount of information and help it drive your daily workflow. So I'm going to show you how I have it set up and how I set it up for Karen, and then I want to walk you through how to do this yourself. And after watching this video, if you have any questions, give me a call and I can walk you through setting it up for yourself. But I think it will really help you better manage your day so you don't get overwhelmed. You don't spend a lot of time at the end of the month trying to clean up deals and getting it prepped and ready for Mindy's review at the end of each month to build her forecast. So anyway, what I did just to show you is this is a list of all my deals. Okay. I have access to everybody's deals as an admin, so I wanted to make it simplified. So currently I have 45 deals in the system that you can see at the bottom. Okay, but I want to manage those deals in the different statuses and the different stages that they're at. So as you can see over here on the side, each of them have a different stage. So some are in a POC stage, some are identifying products, some are quoted, some are already signed, some of them won't be signed based on their different criteria. So in order to manage that workflow and start with a very wide funnel at the top of my sales funnel and then whittle it down to completed ones and helping manage my tasks, this is what I came up with Karen, and I think it would be advantageous to each of you. So starting at the top, you're going to have pending and open deals. Then you'll have deals that have been sold and are signed, but are still in production and haven't been officially delivered and completed. And then you'll have delivered and completed deals that are done, finished, and don't require any particular follow up by us as salespeople at that point. Now, I know the CRM is really designed to create deals, get them sold, move on to the next one. But as a salesperson, we want to make sure that everything is taken care of for our client. I know that each of us have experienced different delays. Production goes longer than we had expected for one reason or another. We're waiting for payment before we can release that, and we help coordinate that a lot of times. We're still involved until the vehicle gets delivered to make sure, hey, everything was delivered okay and the customer's happy with the vehicle. We even have to follow up at times and make sure that our clients did receive their MSOs and the vehicle is officially completed. Now, those particular tasks don't directly involve us because there are staff at the office that are handling those components. But as a salesperson, we want to follow through from the beginning to the end to make sure all those things are completed. Um, I know if you're like me, you don't want to find out 3 days later that your customer still doesn't have a title or an MSO or doesn't have a temp tag after their vehicle's been delivered for 3 days and is unable to drive the vehicle. So just those little things, if we can put some sort of follow up internally on our own end to just make sure those things are done, I thought that this pipeline might help. So overall, I told you I have 45 total deals, but the ones that are currently pending and are open are whittled down to 25. So those are the ones I'm really working with extensively at the moment. Those are ones that are in the POC status. I've written a PO. I've sent it to my client. I'm waiting for them to review it and sign it. I've sent quotes over to them. I'm waiting on next steps. I'm identifying product with individuals. I talk to them on the phone. They're not at the point to create a quote, but I need to follow up on them. And then I can set particular closing dates and follow-up dates. As you see, I have a couple flags here on particular ones that I pre-set up for a week or so ago to prompt me this week for specific follow-up. So this is where I'm going to spend the bulk of my time following up with my clients. As I add new ones in, they'll dump into this bucket and I'll be able to follow up with them. Now, I'm not looking at 45 total deals because a percentage of those don't really require follow-up. So I don't want to be looking at those particular deals over and over and over again when they're pretty much done and don't require follow-up. So you can use this to look at your overall snapshot of all your deals you're working with that are pending, and then you use the specific tasks to drive behavior on a particular day. So this particular customer for Baptist Health East, I don't need to look at them on the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th. I prompted myself to not worry about it till the 8th. So utilizing the events tab and the other activities tab, like your tasks and your call tabs, will help drive your daily behavior. But looking at your overall pipeline, this will help minimize you looking at stuff that's not necessary. So then the next step is, if you see I click down, the next one I created was sold and in production. So that means I have 4 vehicles that are signed and done and are currently in production in one form or another. So, for instance, M&M Fire Department is being completed today and is shipping. Strategic EMS is being built and probably won't be done for another 4 or 5 weeks. The same with this one. St. Thomas Health was just signed this weekend. The vehicle will be delivered back to the factory, and then it'll take 4 or 5 weeks to complete the build. Strategic Ambulance Services is completed and done, and I'm waiting for my client to pay so we can arrange for shipping. So I know those things, but instead of me looking through 45 of them, these are the only ones that are sold and waiting to be completed. Okay? Now, if I move down to my next bucket that I created is delivered and completed. So again, out of those 45, I have 8 units that have been sold, completed, delivered, and are done. So those have moved into my final bucket. That doesn't mean that I'll never follow up with these, but these are way down the bottom line because they've been delivered, signed, and done. So I've moved them from my total deals into pending deals, which are pending and waiting for completion. Once they're signed and done and move into production, I'm monitoring them in the smaller bucket, and then the funnel gets down very narrow to the bottom where they're delivered and completed. I know that each one of these customers have received their vehicle, have received their MSOs, have received all the information that they need, and I can kind of put that folder away in my file cabinet and only deal with them if there's an issue with warranty or something down the road. So, not to go into too much more detail, I just wanted to show you how I did this. So, my pending deals is relatively simple. What I did when I wanted to go into pending deals, I'll open up and edit it. I went in and created my own, which the deal owner is me. For pending deals, I want my stage to not be signed or POC won't be signed. So what that's telling me is I'm looking at all the stages that are not signed or won't be signed. So that is identifying product, quotes, and POCs. Okay, and then I organize them in this way so I can have it driven by my closing date. So obviously I want to work oldest to newest. Then I added in my deal name, the account name, what type of vehicle it is, so I can kind of look and see which ones are ambulances, which ones are rear entry, which ones are full size, the total amount of the vehicle, and then obviously what stage in the process it is. Is it identifying product or whatever? Okay, so I created this one as my pending stuff that I need to work with a lot. Okay. The very next one is very similar to it. You'll notice when I go in, the next one is sold. So if I go in there and I show you how I created that filter, it's the same thing. So now I'm still the deal owner. The stage in this case are only signed purchase orders. So that means we're past the quote identifying and POC stage. And now these are ones that I know are signed and finished. Okay. So what I've been doing is in your next step stage, which I'll come back and show you that in a minute, Karen was putting in that it's completed. And that's letting her know that, hey, this vehicle's done, it's finished, I verified everything is completed, it's been delivered and finished. So she's added into her next step stage as being completed. In this case, I said that it's anything that I want to look in my sold in production is not completed. Okay? So this will make more sense in the next stage. So then the last stage that I created was delivered and completed. Okay, so if I look at the way I edited it, it should be very similar again. I'm the deal owner. The stage in this case is signed, and now the next step is completed. So what that's showing me, if I go into a particular one, is inside my actual deal, it's signed, and then down here on my next step, I've indicated that it's completed. So when it shows up completed, it's putting it into my done completed bucket. Okay, if I were to jump into the ones that I was telling you all the specific details of, for instance, this one right here, Strategic Ambulance Solutions, if you look at my next step, I put in there waiting for pickup. That does not say completed. That's telling me that I'm waiting for this client to pick up the vehicle and finalize payment. Okay. Once the customer picks up that vehicle and takes it and they go home, I would just go in and edit this and put in completed. Now it drops out of my in production deals and would then show up in my delivered. So what you're doing is you're moving them from bucket A to bucket B to bucket C. So now, again, the main focus of this is instead of you looking at 100 pending deals and going through them and trying to see what needs to be done here, what needs to be done there. Oh, that one is 5 days old. I overlooked it. This is really helping you drive your daily behavior. Now, if this one requires me to do something, right now I know my customer that I just told you, Ray Little, is waiting to pay for this customer or waiting to pay for this vehicle and pick it up. So if I wanted to follow up on it, what I would do is go down here and create a new activity. So I would now go and say follow up on pickup date. Okay, so today is Wednesday. I'm going to give Ray till the rest of the week, till Friday. I'm going to remind myself Friday morning to give him a call and make sure that he's finalized the payment and that he set up his established pickup date. Okay, so now this particular item is in my sold and in production deal bucket, but I've prompted myself on my next step on how to handle this. Okay, now this particular vehicle in my case, Larry has it. He's bringing the vehicle back to the factory, and then it will start production next week. Okay, so I can remind myself, okay, to follow up with Julie on adding unit to production. Okay, so this is just, I'm giving you some examples on how to use the buckets and then how to drive my behavior with specific tasks. Okay, so now this particular one, I'm not going to follow up till next Monday. That will give Larry time to get the vehicle back, to put it into production, and then I can make sure, hey, Julie, did you get this vehicle? And it's back into production, ready to go. So I'm going to save that. So now as I look through my list, I know I'm not worrying about this till Friday, and I'm not worrying about this till Monday. Okay? Strategic EMS is in production, and it's probably in stage 3 or 4 at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down, and I'm going to say add task, and I'm going to say follow up on status of production. Okay. So I'm going to push this out. Right now I'm on the 5th. I'm going to push it out to the end of the month. So I'm going to wait till Monday the 24th. That's giving me 1, 2, 3, 4 more weeks in the production status. And I'm going to say, hey, Julie, what's the status of this vehicle? I know it's still several weeks out, but tell me where we're at. I don't want to wait till the end of my 10-week lead time to realize that it's not going to be ready in 10 weeks, right? So I'm looking at it at 4 or 5 weeks to make sure it's moving down the channel, to make sure everything's going good, okay? So that's why I put that in. Now, I don't necessarily need to do anything with that for almost 3 weeks, but I'm setting it up to prompt myself so I can plan my day. So now I do have 4 things in here, but I don't require to look at these. I'm not required to look at these things every single day. And now this last one is being shipped and delivered today. So what I'm going to do is go down. I'm going to follow up with this. And I'm going to put up follow up with customer on delivery. Okay. So this vehicle is being picked up and delivered today or tomorrow. So I'm going to push it out till Friday. And I'm going to make sure that my customer received his vehicle. He has no major issues and everything's good. Okay. So that took me, 3 to 5 minutes to go through that bucket. I have already organized them into the proper bucket, so I know what I'm doing with it, and I've set up follow-up on those particular vehicles to make sure I know when I'm doing it. So Friday, Monday, and 3 weeks from now, I have things that are prompted, and now I can forget about everything that's in this particular bucket and move on to other things. Okay? Then I can work my pending bucket the same way. So these particular customers have all different assets. I'm following up with this one on the 6th. I'm following up on this one on the 8th. And I can go through slowly and update these, but I only have 25 to worry about. So as you can see, I'm just trying to teach you how to utilize the system better. There's a million different ways. No one's telling you have to build it this way, but these are ways to help you manage your workflow. Right now you have 5, 6, 8, 10 deals going on, but what happens when you have 40 or 50 deals going on at once? The only way for you to really utilize the system and know what you're doing from day to day without getting overwhelmed or overlooking something is to utilize the system through these buckets, through